No, Lucas. No, Lucas or Ryan.
All right, listen up here. We're gonna go over this one here. Just put this in your notes. We're gonna graph it 2 ways. I'm gonna show you this. This is kind of an issue we had on the quiz. And I'm gonna hand back the quizzes. We're gonna go over the quizzes. And then the grade should be in Canvas. And then go over your mistakes. And then you're gonna get a good portion of the period to work on the practice test. Practice test we're gonna start today. It's due Monday. We'll review it Monday. It's an 85-point sum of the test on Tuesday. Okay? So we need, if you made a mistake, we need to fix them. You should also have your 3-1 to 3-4 quiz in your notebook where you can access it. Okay, so I'm probably gonna ask you for that. Now, while you're working on this today, either me or Mr. Parker, we're just gonna take a look. We're gonna probably not get to everybody. We're gonna call a few of you up and just kind of go over your grades with you, where you're at. Okay, what you got the first 9 weeks, where you're at this point. Okay, so that's kind of the plan. It says graph the function 2 different ways. I'll tell you the 2 different ways. We're gonna do the same one. We're gonna use x and y intercepts, and then we're gonna use the slope and the y-intercept. Some of you are getting these 2 ideas confused. They're different. All right, so for same equation. So start with this. 3x minus 6y equals 24. All right, so to use the x and y intercepts, you have to find the x and y intercepts. Okay, go ahead and get this down. A piece of paper. Yeah, I want you to write this down. So now, and this is going to be still part of the test. All right, how do you find the x and y intercepts? Griffin?
Subtract 3x on both sides.
Don't want to do that. Nope, don't need to do that. We can do it right from here without moving anything.
That's next.
That's actually next.
That's
So this is where you're getting, I think you're getting them flipped. Ava?
Divide 3 by 3x and 24 and negative 6 by 6y and 24.
I think you're doing too much at once. Let's do one at a time. Okay, let's just see. I think you're right, but I'm not positive. So for the x-intercept, we've talked about this. There's one thing we should do first. For x-intercept, what do? We let something back.
You let y be 0.
You let y equal 0. Some of you kind of do this mentally, but you're going to be way better off if you just go through this. You let y equal 0. Whatever the x-intercept you're looking for, let the other variable be 0. So that gives me 3x minus 6 times 0 equals 24. Well, 6 times 0 is 0. So you're left with 3x equals 24. Divide by 3. I get x equals 8. Now we let 0. We said y was 0, so we automatically put that in there for the point. So you got 8 comma 0. We need 2 points to graph it. I got 1 point. Other point is the y-intercept. So for the y-intercept, when it's given to me in this form, I let x equal 0.
Guys, we've done so many intercepts. This should be like kind of second nature now, I think.
And I think that some of you got it confused with the other form. All right, so now you got 3 times 0. Just solve it. Take a second. If you haven't solved it, go ahead. Make sure you write it as a point. All right, make sure you write that as a point. Write that as a point. Okay, got it? All right, now you got graph it. You got that. Now, you don't need to have something as fancy as mine, but you got to have something here. So negative 6y equals 24 divided by negative 6. I get y equals negative 4. So I get the point 0, negative 4. I got 2 points. So I'm going to plot those. Is that mine?
Yeah.
That's okay. You can apologize.
So how's everyone's day?
Feel that?
Just
Yes, sir.
Did you graph these yet?
That's what we're about.
Good. Mr. Cole, I request your presence.
8-0,
Oh,
and then what? Whoops, I did the wrong one. 8-0's over here. Eight zero, and what's the other one? 0, -4. And then we draw, guys, on your, make sure when you draw the line, make sure you go past it, and there's arrows on both sides. All right, there it is right there. Now, let's see, 3x minus 6y equals what? 24. Okay, now we want to solve for y. Okay? We want to put it in slope intercept form. How do I solve this for y? What's my first step? Somebody said it starting out the other one. Take this 3x and do what? Take it over where? Go ahead. From both sides, right? This cancels. What kind of 6y is that? Now, how do I write this over here, Juan? I want it in this form right here. Y equals mx plus b. So what do I write first? What? Say that again. What term's first? Want my x term first. Okay? You want your x term first.
yeah.
Okay, now what? What's attached to the y, Jenna?
-6.
What do you do?
Divide.
By
-6.
how many places?
All of them.
3. All of them. Done. Okay, guys, what's -3 over -6? Isn't it positive? Right? How does -3/6 reduce as a fraction? Don't say 0.5. What would it be? It'd be 1/2. There's my slope. Okay, what's 24 divided by -6, Taryn? -4. Okay. Guys, I'm going to graph it. And should it look like the same line as the one we just did? What do you guys think? If I graph this, is it going to look just like that? How many say yes? Guys, it's the same line, right? It's going to look just like that. Okay, what's my y-intercept? Always start with the y-intercept, right? So my slope is 1/2. What is my y-intercept, guys? We write it as a point. What is it? As a point. 0, -4. Go down to -4. There's my y-intercept. How do you attach a 1/2 slope to that? What's slope again? Rise over what? So I'm going to go up 1. Which way? 2 to the up 1, 2 to the right. Up 1, 2 to the right. I can also do this because a double negative move is also positive, right? Oh my gosh, that was a silent sneeze. Do you always sneeze silently?
What?
Do you always sneeze silently?
I tried to.
Why? You're going to blow up. This will be your tennis shoes left. Down 1, left 2. Down 1, left 2. You guys get the idea. Okay. There it is right there. That's a pretty good free-handed line. I don't care who you are.
It's the same line graphed in 2 different ways. This
Well-
is what you had to do on the quiz, and a few of you were kind of mixing them up.
It's the same.
But you got to follow the direction. So if it says use x and y intercepts, you got to make sure you label them both plot it. If it says use slope and y-intercept, you got to find that y-intercept, get y by itself, and find the slope. All right, we're going to hand back your quizzes. So, you can keep these, and then we're going to go over them here. Back.
You don't see no more?
That's your own.
No, I don't. I don't like this.
Hey.
Alright, should we go over that? Yeah, I can do that. That'll be fine.
Put this here. Rylan.
No, I had it right.
Oh, you let that be your. Jenna Reynolds.
Huh?
Okay, actually,
You have to take
that was not that bad for me.
And the highest is a 90.
90%. 90%. So that would be like a 43. Alex. Burger. Maya.
60. I'll take it.
Whoa.
Sorry.
I'm just picking on you.
Sorry.
Hey, Maddie. That. All right, I think I got everybody in my pile.
Do we start passing out the,
Not yet. I want to go over this real quick.
oh, okay.
I got the answer keys up here.
I'm gonna go check on here while you're doing that.
All right, have your quiz out in front of you. Now, who's got version A? Look at the top, version A. Okay, I'm going to alternate here. Just do the front page of the first one and the front page of the second. They're very similar. You'll see how they are. But here's version A. And just, I want you to see the answers. I want you to see the answers. I want you to fix what you can, okay, as needed. Actually, for the first two, much better than usual. A lot of people miss these horizontal and vertical. You got to make sure you put arrows on all your lines. Okay, so this should be y equals -3, x equals 2. Now, 3 and 4 both say find x and y intercepts. I went through the whole thing. Okay, I got everything here for you. You should get 8, 0. You should get 0, -4. For number 4, and I know we've talked about this, but you don't have to do it. You can move the 4x over. And if you did that, that's fine. 10 equals, it would be -4x plus 2y. But here's what you got to watch. If you don't move it over, and a lot of you did this, if you let y be 0, a lot of you just moved your equal sign and said 4x equals 10.
Yeah.
You can't do that because you got to keep everything lined up. And then you got to subtract 10. And this is why it's going to be negative instead of positive. So if you had a positive instead of negative, that's typically what you did. The y-intercept ends up being fine. Okay. Now, a lot of times it's better off to move it over. It's not, as long as you don't make a mistake, you'll be okay either way. Identifying the slope, and I think for my kids, they did a good job
Yeah,
here
they did pretty well.
in the sense that you cannot leave it, like you cannot give me an answer of 0 over 11.
I
If
had a couple people do that.
you do that, we got to mark it wrong because you got to indicate that final answer. 0 over 11 or 0 over 9 is 0. Okay, so your final answer has to be 0. All right, that was version A. Version B, front page. So if you got version B, take a look. It's going to be slightly different. Okay, so we should be able to go through this a little bit quicker here. Take a look at your horizontal, your vertical lines. This one is 8, 0, and 0, -4. And there it is set up nice. Now, number 4, again, is the case here. You can move that 6x over if that helps you. But if you got positive 2.3, now I had meant to change this. I didn't realize that this was giving me y equals 7, but most of you are fine anyway on that. But 0, 7 is my y-intercept, -2, 3. So you don't need to get y by itself. You don't find the slope. You just find the intercepts. And this one also has a slope of 0, but instead of 0 over 11, it's 0 over 9. Okay, so you follow those steps. All right. Page 2. If you got version A, is that the same one? Make sure this is version A. Again, good job on this. When you got a negative divided by negative, you got to make your answer positive 2/3. Okay? And then you got to reduce it. You cannot leave 6/9. It's got to become 2/3. This becomes 8 minus -4. Some of you kind of mixed up which one was the x and the y, and you did that incorrect. But I get 12/4, I get 3. Slope is always a fraction or a whole number. It's never an ordered pair. And so like for 8, every now and then a few people do this. They'll go, oh, yeah, that's -3, 2. And I still can't figure out why. It's got to be written as, you're going from here, and you can count down 3/2. Since it's going downhill, it has to be negative. That's 0. Horizontal line is just 0. This is up 3/4. It's a positive slope. You can't just say positive. You got to tell me what the slope is. It's 3/4. The table, okay, I use 1, 3, and I use 2, 7. And so I did the y, 7 minus 3, and 2 minus 1. So I ended up with 4. And now for 10, this is where it says identify the slope and y-intercept. Graph the line. The slope is the number with the x. 2 or 2/1.
Don't write 2x. I didn't count off. I don't know if you did.
No, but yeah, that's not correct. The slope is just the number. The slope is 2. The x is the variable, so it's totally separate. 0, -5 is my y-intercept. If you wrote -5, we allowed it. But you got to start at -5. And I go up 2/1, up 2/1, up 2/1.
I had some people go -5. I mean, they had 0, -5, and then they wrote -5, 0. They went to the x-axis and put -5.
Always an issue. So sometimes people want to start
Yeah.
right there. I have no idea how to fix that. You gotta always start on the y-axis. Okay, always start on the y-intercept.
If you want to, label your axis y and x, so you don't do that.
Oh. All right, now for B, if you got test B, quiz B, I get 5 minus 7, -2/8. If you missed them, fix them. Okay, do that now so that you can have that to study from. I would suggest that's why we're going over it. I get 10 minus -2 is 12. 5 minus 2 is 3. I get 4. Reduces to 4. Bless you. Here's my slopes here. Positive 3/4. 0, -3/2. Okay, so make sure. The table, I used 1, 5, 2, 8, but it didn't matter which points you used. Okay, it's got to be give you 3/1 or 3. Slope and y-intercept. Slope is 3. That's a 1 there. I know it doesn't, for whatever reason, it looks like a 7. That's a 1. 3 or 3/1. 0, -7 is my y-intercept. So you start at -7, go up 3/1, up 3/1. Okay, for that one. All right, last page. Now, this one here. Is this A? Awesome.
Number 10.
Yeah.
This says I have a point marked off of it.
All right, I'll look. Did Mr. Parker grade it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll have to look at that. All right, so identify the slope and y-intercept and graph the line. This is the one where you got to move everything. Some people got this confused with x and y-intercepts or vice versa. So you got to move minus 2x. -2 divided by 4. That reduces to -1/2. 12/4 is 3. This is my slope. This is my y-intercept. So I start at 0, 3. I go up 1 or to the left, or I go down and to the right, but I got to make sure it matches this falling line.
Okay. Yeah. Guys, as soon as I see slope intercept form, on there on a test, I write y equals mx plus b. Okay? That's what you guys should do on the directions, so you know I have to solve for y. Boom. Y equals mx plus b. And I see nobody writing it right now. That's what you should write on your paper right now. And that's what you should write on your test on Tuesday.
Number 12 is the same on both tests. So both tests, take a look at it now. Number 12 is exactly the same. Now it says find the slope and tell what the slope represents. Some of you said it shows her account is losing money. When we're doing this and we're finding the slope, you have to use the numbers of the slope in your explanation. Okay, you just can't say it's increasing or decreasing. That's the reason why we find the slope. So it was 275 over 11, which you divide, you get negative 25, or negative 25 over 1. Whatever's on the y-axis, because remember, slope is rise over run. That is that's going to be money. Oh, that's a percent sign. That's going to be money. And that means whatever's on the x-axis, that's going to be on the bottom. It's time in what? Weeks. So since it's negative $25, it means her account is decreasing by $25 per week. So you have to incorporate the number for the slope. Now, think about this. Everybody, think about this. What instead of, if I didn't get negative 25, what if I got m equals 20 over 3? How would you interpret that for this situation? The 20 would be what? That would be dollars, and the 3 would be what? Weeks. Let me make it negative. So it means her account would be losing $20 every what? 3 weeks. Okay, but we got 25 over 1, so make sure you do that. And now 13 is very similar. They're going to have different numbers. But you had to say you can buy 20 pens if you buy 0 notebooks. You had to incorporate both the X and Y part of the x-intercept. And you had to say you can buy 12 notebooks if you buy 0 pens. Okay. So on here, this should be pens. And then this should be notebooks. All right, now part B. This is a different one. You end up with negative 1/2 x plus 4. We start at 4. You go down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. So that should be that answer for that last one. X and Y intercept. Okay, for that one. And now 12, we said it was the exact same problem. Negative 25 is your slope. Her account is decreasing by $25 per week. And then for 13, you got different numbers in there, same scenario, but different numbers. And then this is pens. And then this is notebooks. Okay, whoops, there should be an S down there.
They did better on that problem.
Yeah, they did. I think the only thing I said for a lot of mine is you got to make sure you use the 20 and the 0 in the explanation. 20 notebooks, 0, or 20 pens, 0 notebooks, 8 notebooks, 0 pens. Okay. All right, we're going to do practice tests now. I'm telling you right now, practice test is a mirror image of the test. Different numbers, maybe some different wording. Now, how many points, Zach, is the test?
Say 80 or 85.
I said 85. Go big or go home. Yeah, you go home. You go home after the end of the day. Get out a separate sheet of paper. What's your question? You can either go up or down. But the final answer is negative 1/2. You have to be going downhill. So if you go up, you gotta go to the left. If you go down, you gotta go to the right.
So one, the glass is like.
Yep.
The bottom numbers are right. I do. know.
Okay.
That was you.
Yeah.
Our numbers left and right.
Oh, yeah, I wrote it down.
And you had but how does that incorporate money and week?
Why?
You gotta say, you got their account moving $25 per week, not just the slope negative 25. That's basically all you say.
How about I grab the exact right number? Things that I thought. Isn't that amazing? Magic is right.
It looks like you put 4 Okay.
Okay.
Whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
All right, on this practice test, this incorporates double assignment, 20. Okay, you got over 15 minutes. So you're working till the end of the period. We're not closing up shop at 9:07 and then, chilling out. We're gonna work till the end.
Wow.
Yep. And, all right, a couple things. Unless otherwise instructed, do all work on another sheet of paper. Here's my only instructions. You may graph on the practice test. You may use those graphs for that, but all your other work should be written on a separate sheet of paper. Number your work. Number 1, number 2, list it. If you're really confused on something, put a star. Right now, you should have your 2 quizzes out in front of you. The quiz from 3-1 to 3-4, and the quiz I just handed back. And then we'll look over those if you get a question.
Is that our fault?
Yeah, let me answer that one. Austin had a question about.
You have a question already?
That you
I'm not
created.
even gonna answer that. Watch, let me see. No. Actually, one more time.
Good, you know.
Look in your notes and try to find it.
But I
And
don't
then I'll help you.
understand when you say that.
Well, I don't know. See you next time. Something applies.
I'm actually so lower now.
You may.
Also, I just got tired watching you go. Nice show.
Okay, put all your work on a separate sheet, number it, with the exception of graphs. They can go on your, what's that called? Practice test. And we'll go over this on Monday as well. So you want to make sure you,
I was just
I would.
I'm popular today.
I would subtract 6x on both sides to get 14. I get the x and y on the same side.
Okay.
And then you put 0 on each one.
You're done.
Yeah.
So
So,
I would
so
write-
kind of like this?
Yeah.
Okay, so what
But-
you need to get his,
Oh,
I need to walk into my room. His glasses are in.
you did it opposite. You subtract 6x.
Yep.
To take that over there, so that should be like.
Griffin,
Uh-huh.
your glasses are in
He's
the
not here.
attendance office.
Oh! Keep me in the head and call me Jimmy.
Go put down your glasses in the attendance office.
You just had sons.
Okay?
So that'd be
So it's not 0. You don't do that. Once you do that.
Maddie, you need to do all your work on a separate sheet of paper except for the graphs. Except for the
So
graphs.
that goes away.
Alright.
So that was what? Negative 6x equals 14.
Yes.
So I need this.
Absolutely. One. You're on number 1?
Divide by negative 6 on both
How
sides.
about, where did he get 0-7?
Oh, well, very nicely now. You put 1 on your side.
Let's gotta go through 4.
1 on your side. You put 0 in
Let's
front.
gotta go through the number 4.
Oh, wrong way.
So
Sorry.
you like with this.
I did it like where.
Divide by 2.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
I just saw how they have it.
Alright, what's your domain? Domain is the X values, right? What if
Like I had
Right.
it. Yeah.
So you're using this graph.
Don't simplify it. Leave it like that. We told you, leave it as a fraction. Because it's like a whole number.
And quit recording. All right, so take a look at your X values.
That's right. And this isn't simplifying. You put it in from